Testing, testing, gotcha. Legendary brothers and the occasional beautiful sister. I'm just using the new DJI microphone. I'm just testing it's going, but it's going good. Nice to be here on the set of my kitchen, making my late breakfast and having a yarn with you guys. I hope this day finds you all well. I've been digging into some topics that have ruffled a few feathers, opened a few can of worms in the last few days, talking about men and women. Boy, did I get jumped on by some woman? Sorry. I'm just thinking of some of the comments. They are funny. They're funny for me anyway. Where should we kick this one in the guts? I want to talk about one of the very strongest emotions I think that humans have. Some of you will be saying, oh, that'll be fear or that'll be love. But in my existence, and these as usual are only my opinions from what I've experienced and not necessarily true or correct, but in my opinion, the biggest human emotion, or the most common one, let me say not the biggest, the most common human emotion would be envy, human envy. And I think it comes back from many, many years ago of how we have evolved. If you consider, like, man, maybe, I don't know, 500 years ago, man would be, say he's in a situation in the Middle East. The man that lives on the estate that owns 30 camels and has 6 wives and a spread of land and lots of servants, he would be considered in his environment, in his community, to be the wealthy, strong survivor. He had all of these resources. If you go to the Lord of the Manor in the UK, maybe 500 years ago or even 1,000 years ago, this guy's got lots of horses and he's got a stable boy and he's got a servant. Now that servant would go home to his very, very humble abode that had no windows and just a fireplace where he cooked on, and his wife and their 2 children. And he would have worked for his master, and he'd come back, and I'm sure when he looked at his master, he looked at him with envy. I'm sure he didn't go, well, this is my life and I'm happy just having this, and I'm glad my master's got all that. I'm sure on some level, the way we've evolved, there's been a certain amount of always envy for those that have more in their life, and it comes down to survival. Because the more you've got, the more food you've got, the more less likely you are to starve, the better dwelling you've got, the less likely you are to freeze over winter. And if you're in one of those countries where you've got loads of wives, the more wives you've got, then the more sex you get to have as a man, the more children you get to father, the more status, and so forth and so on. Well, today here in our environment in New Zealand, I have seen envy firsthand towards myself. Now, I started making YouTube video years ago. If we go back 25 years ago, I started taking young men out that didn't have dads hunting. Patrick was one of the first guys I took out. And Patrick today is in his mid-30s and he's a father himself, and he comes around here and sees me and helps me with stuff. I've got a lot of men like that. But I started doing it, and then I started making a YouTube channel because I damaged his shoulder and I couldn't play music anymore. And one thing led to another, and slowly I built it up stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. I started off renting an old farmhouse that was falling down. It's got holes in the roof. The rats were literally running across our beds in the night. My daughter got 4 scratches on her face from a rat that jumped on her in the night, and she threw it against the wall. And that bedroom today still has a square on the wall that covers up the hole the rat popped his head out and jumped on her. And then I ended up buying the land off my landlord, finally buying the land. Now the house was worth negative $25,000. That means it was going to cost 25 grand to get it bowled. So I paid my mate Arb to build this room and the kitchen, and the rest of the house is still in the same state it was when I rented it. It ain't flash, that's by any means, but I built things up. And slowly as I built things up on my YouTube channels, and I say YouTube channels because I've got 4. I've got the main one, Clay Tool Stories. I've got the affiliate programs that runs, so it sells clothes and stuff, but I don't do anything. It's just like people have codes, like they want to buy, say, a Mick Lagarde jacket. They'd hit the code and I get a bit of money for that. My music, the CDs, there's one there. That's actually one that I haven't got on there. That's a very, very old one. But all my other CDs, I've got about 5. That's actually me when I was like a tiny wee boy. That's me. That's called Strange Dreams. I actually haven't got that one on sale. I sold that one in Europe. But my music started to sell on on the YouTube channel, which it never had done much before. So that started to sell. And then one thing led to another, and I started to gather some money and build things up. And I noticed the envy start. Now, I'm not a materialistic person, but I have acquired 4 vehicles through various means. I've got a sports car, a very cheap one, bought for me when I had cancer 6 years ago by Philip in Auckland. And he bought me a sports car so I could go and do my treatments down in Christchurch. So I acquired that. I've got a Toyota Land Cruiser in a garage. It's 1990, which I've had when I came back from Europe years ago. 1990. Figured out I didn't buy it then, but it was like I bought it in the late 90s. I've got that, which has been forever. And I've got my Toyota Hilux, which has been my main vehicle for the last 10 years, which I use for taking young boys hunting. And young men and older boys hunting, not young boys. The cut-off age is around 11, although some of them have told lies. They've said, oh, no, I'm 11 when they've only been 8. Got one that's done that. So that was what that vehicle was for. So I have got these vehicles that are built up, but it was never ever a goal to have a lot of vehicles. And my whole life, I've always wanted a really good Toyota Land Cruiser. So when I turned 60, rather than finish building my home, I invested it in the Toyota Land Cruiser. And the home still is bulldozer material. Now, the amount of envy that flooded from certain people and hate when I bought that, and I started building a log cabin, I was like, hold on a minute. I never saw that coming. Here I am my whole life. I've battled disease. I've worked, like I paid 3,159 concerts in Europe and helped my parents get into their home in Mapua. I helped my mum with her home and did all these things to help other people. And finally, when I bought something myself, the envy just came. Now that's normal. That's normal human emotion. It really is. And I think that people also wish ill upon people when people are doing well. Now, I know that's like, oh, no, I would never do that, but there are people that do that. And those people that have given me those messages of hate, and they are messages of hate, I'll call them messages of envy. I know that they would wish ill upon me, yet I've had so much ill upon me, literal ill, with disease and losing people I love through drownings and suicide and all that, yet they still would wish that ill upon me, but they don't see the whole picture. And it comes down to this: people look at what you have and they love that, but they don't love the battle that you went to get it. If it was in their life, they see you, say you've got a brand new boat, you've got a brand new Senator, hardtop, 7 meters, beautiful boat. And other men will look at your boat and they'll, oh, it's a beautiful boat. But they won't have any envy about how hard you worked, what you went through in your life, your personal struggles, your financial struggles, the days that you work when people are out doing stuff to get that. Or if you're a YouTuber, the nights you sat up till 3 in the morning editing a video to get online just to have the computer crash. Or in the case of my computer, a cup of tea went on the bench and went underneath it, and the fans underneath, not this one, the other one, the fans underneath sucked up, there it goes there, sucked up a cup of tea that I spilt on the bench. Now this happened a while ago, and I have just paid to have it refixed myself. Insurance didn't cover that mistake, because it's a work computer. That one, well, it's actually a personal one, which I use sometimes for work. I use both, but there's a point in hand that nobody sees that or knows about it, and it's just one of the many things. I've got a hard drive up in here, which is in bits. You can see the back come off. I had a whole project I did, and this fell off the table and broke, and I lost all of my work, and it was one of my primitive survival videos, and I lost the entire thing. And it's one video that never made it to YouTube, and it took me like a week and a half to just get the edit to a place where I could start to re-edit it again. It took me 5 days of being in the wild to do, and a week and a half of editing and a whole lot more work, and everything got lost, but nobody sees that. All they see is the video you put online, and then they just jump on it with a negative comment. They don't realise the work, and it's the same for you. It's the same in your life. Nobody sees the hardship that you have to acquire the things you want. For me personally, as material things go, a log cabin is something I dreamed of as a child, and it will happen, and a Toyota Land Cruiser with a V8 in it. And I dreamed of this before there was such a thing. V8 Land Cruiser only been out since 2007, and I dreamed about this before they existed, because I had a mate that put a Chevy in one years ago, and when they finally came out, it was like, holy shit, in 2007. Well, now in 2024, I finally own one at the age of 60. And the envy comes from people. Yet, the real true friends and the really good people in my life that know me and know what I have tried to do for them and for other people, they're not like that. They're full of joy and happiness for me. Then they really are. Bro, you deserve that. And they're my real true friends. They're the people that actually matter to me. But you've got the same thing happening in your own life. You've got the same people that will hate on you. That human emotion is very, very real. So I think that's one of the strongest human emotions out there. If you think about your own life and what you've had and what's gone on in it, you will find similar things that have happened. You see the bloke that's got the really nice girlfriend, and other men are envious. They're envious of him. But they don't realise that he has to actually have something of value that she sees. And you might not be able to see it as a man, but he has to have something, and he's giving, which is still hard work in some level, to attract that woman. You might say, oh, well, he's just genetically more superior than me. One of the most genetically superior people I ever had in my life was a young guy that I took out. And he would attract so many women, and men loved him. And he was right up there. I'm not going to say his name. And it still hurts me today. And at the age of 17, he took his own life. And so many young guys were jealous of him, and so many girls wanted to be with him. He was only 17, and he could have been the next All Black. He was a great hunter, a great fisherman, and so many young men were jealous of him because he was tall and strong and looked like that, but nobody had a clue the battles that were going on. And we had a gorgeous girlfriend. Other guys would look at his gorgeous girlfriend with envy, and still it wasn't fulfilling him. So when you look at another bloke who's got a really gorgeous girl, don't be jealous. Just think, he's got his own battles that I don't know anything about. I haven't walked in his footsteps. And this guy had such battles that it was so bad for him, he couldn't stay in his life anymore. So envy is a real false thing to have, because you just don't know what people have gone through to acquire what they've had, and you don't even know that why they've got it, how happy it's really making them feel. You're just measuring it on your own thing. Anyway, that's my rattle on today. I'm going to eat this stuff. My porridge. Have a great day, brothers and the occasional sister. As always, these are only my opinions, not necessarily correct, but what I have found to be true in my existence in the 60 years on this planet. Have a bloody good weekend, and I'll catch you in the next Project Club video. And don't forget to check out the clay tall stories in crochet. I've only got 4 videos up, but I'm going to make more. It's fun. It'll give you a good laugh. See you later.